All right, guys, we're live.
Hey.
I think that's been my most, I've no words, like what an amazing discussion, conversation, just wow.
You said that last 2 weeks.
I know, right? Just like elevation.
They're just evolution and evolution of consciousness, right? So for those of you who don't know, we just literally came out of one virtual meeting, which felt very close and present and almost like we're all in the same room. Is that fair to say, guys? Like it was very connected. We talked about so this week's topic was, we talked about introduction to spirituality, and it's safe to say that each of us went down another rabbit hole, and through popular demand we are going to be doing a, what's the word, part 2, sequel, whatever you want to call it, a follow-up, because spirituality is a topic that can't be discussed or contained or restricted, and it's something you can talk about forever, your whole life, and not understand it. So yeah, I was just mind blown by some of the reflections from people, and it's always nice to welcome new men, right? Mm-hmm. Especially, yeah, I mean, there was one person I welcomed, Vijay, who have known for like 20 odd years, and just connected with them on a deeper level just on this chat. So if there's any men watching or listening, don't be shy, reach out, because we're normal, typical blokes like you guys are, and everything we discuss is private. It's a locked Zoom session. We don't share any names in terms of people who don't want to be shared. We don't discuss anything personal that is discussed that people don't want to share, etc. And we're just creating a community, a space for men to get together, to break and smash through that taboo of mental health, or like what we like to call it, like our sister group's called, is mental wealth. So if there's any women listening out there and you want to find out more about what we do, go to Facebook and jump on their page, which is Mental Wealth. If there's any women who have men in your life, because I'm sure all women have men in their life in all forms of relationship, then jump on our Facebook page, Mindful Men's Club, and share it with the guys, because you might just literally save somebody's life.
Yeah, I mean, you've said it there perfectly, and I feel what I like about all the sessions that we've done, irrespective of what theme we've touched, is that we've managed to combine some of the concepts with something scientific, as well as our own experiences. Without it, intentionally, we're not trying to present the solution, but there's multiple solutions that we all have, multiple resources that we've pulled in, and just kind of put them on the table for everyone else to see, share, and look at what they want to tap into. So what I really love is that it's so open, it's so giving. Everyone's like, whether it's books or websites or movies or documentaries, like it's all oriented towards just growth. And particularly with today, on today's subject, like I was geeking out when you start talking about quantum physics and spirituality, and then when you look at the history of spirituality and how it's evolved from when it started out in Africa, and when you look at the Native Americans and the indigenous Indians, the Aborigines, the Indian subcontinent, and then how it's spread across, like it evolved. And when we looked at how religion and organized practice comes in, where it kind of blurs the line, it's not to say that either one's bad, but it's actually getting clear. It's back, really, it's on, the onus is on the individual to really define and learn about what is their own practice, and then to seek out what works for them, because it's universal humanity-based values. And I think that was the key thing that I felt landed for whatever side of the fence that people are on, that actually it's just down to the human being that you want to be, and how do you raise your energy and vibration to just serve and impact and elevate that frequency that's around you.
What I liked about today's session was how everyone's views said the same things. So we came at it from a science point of view, experience point of view, religious point of view, and kind of all point of views, even from a depression, even from a bad place, and everyone kind of said the same thing. And what I noticed is actually everyone's in a certain part of the spiritual journey. There's a certain percentage through it, but sessions like these is gonna actually boost it for not just for everyone, even us. That just speaking about it for this 2 hours nearly is gonna build the momentum up to be like, oh, I need to watch a YouTube video now, you know, where you said Saga basically. And I hope everyone else gets that as well, because it sparks something, and then that momentum really helps, because without the meeting, none of the other guys would have had the spark to start thinking about it again. And that's all you need. You just need a prod to start going into.
Spark is the word, isn't it, when we talk about soul? And how would you explain it to a 4-year-old? Like,
Yeah.
Soul is like, it's your spark. Like, it's the spark that lights everything up. Such a beautiful way to encapsulate that. We've got Yuvraj, Dharmesh, Alex, Prakash, and Nimesh all on live right now. So we've got 5 people here.
Hey, welcome back. These are all the guys who actually literally were locked in, present is the right word, in the moment and with us on our live Zoom call, actually. So welcome, guys, and like always, thank you for your feedback. I actually haven't had a chance to look at the history, but the chat was blowing up, right? I think, Sagar, you guys were monitoring the chat, you and Viraj. So I don't know if there's anything that stands out, any reflections that you want to share, because I literally haven't had a chance to look at some of the content. Something we talked about, actually, that I don't mind publicly sharing. We only talked about it 5 minutes ago. Is Sagar I guess, Sagar, it's your idea. Do you want to talk about your kind of idea about the information and the knowledge and because we will do it, and we promise you we will do it. We'll figure out the technicalities, but there's just so much out there. But I'll hand over to you, Sagar. Do you want to just talk about what we're going to do?
Yeah. Again, I just want to say thank you to everyone that joined, because it's I've just been looking through the chat as you've been speaking, and you've mentioned everything I wanted to say. But one of the things I just realized, especially looking at the chat, is actually doesn't matter where you are in your spiritual path. My God, the things that I've learned today, and I'm going to still learn, because I think I'm going to be spending most of my day watching YouTube today, because I've literally saved all those links on my different tabs as we speak, whether it's books, whether it's YouTube, whether it's website sharing. And because you never know, there's so much out there. And I think this is so nice that we've got this group together. And more importantly, it's not just us four talking. I actually don't talk much, but there'll be the next few sessions where, you know, I will be playing a part, as well as, you know, Havan and Manoj and Viraj. But just listening to people and the things that are being shared, there's so much learning out there. And if we take that one, you know, like I said to Viraj and Manoj and Havan earlier on, I've come to a point now, after doing my silence course, that I don't check my phone until at least 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock midday. Now, how wonderful would it be that, you know, okay, I might not check my phone, but it doesn't mean that I don't have, I can still go onto YouTube and spend those 3 hours in the morning watching these links that people have sent, or reading the book or an audible version, because that's different than actually looking at social media. So what I mean by not checking my phone is no social media. I just want to say thank you. And as I said, as a result of everything that's come out, I think today was we've always had interaction, but today's chat it just exploded. I think me, Havan, Viraj, we were constantly on it, saying, you sharing, and anyone that said something or were going through their spiritual path. For example, you know, Peaky Blinders, right? It's a show. However, we managed to find a link, shared it on the group so that everyone can, you know, they don't have to remember it, it's there. And so what we decided or discussed is on our Facebook page, Mindful Men's Club, what we'll do is we're going to try and figure out a way where we can have a separate tab, which will be just resources, or we'll call it, you know, sort of learning pad or something. We'll figure something out. But I think it would be so nice that people can just go straight into that. They don't have to go through all the different chats, but there will be just a tab that people can just go into, and we'll work out the technicalities, and I'm sure Havan and we'll email everyone out. So thank you so much. As I said, and it's so nice because it's, of course, Mental Health Awareness Week, and it was nice that this plugged in very well towards the end of Mental Health Awareness Week. So yeah, thank you so much. And again, it's more thank you for actually participating, and it takes a lot of courage to share your story, and it's not easy. But thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, and just on the participation, sorry, actually going back a second. So you talked about your removal from social media, and part of the essence, I mean, there's so much knowledge shares, but part of the essence that we share today and learnings, and we learned from everyone on the group was detachment, right? So what you're describing is detachment. And that could be detachment from people, it could be detachment from technology, and it's about serving your higher purpose and what's good to fill your own cup, right? Kind of like that airplane analogy where put your own mask on first and then put other people's mask on after, irrespective of if they're your close family members, because if you really want to help them, you need to help yourself. Um, but I think, look, I think I can go on forever, and I'm still buzzing. I'm not going to lie. I'm you guys are still buzzing. I know everyone's energy's up here.
I like what Sagar said about, so like I've been on a social media detox for about a couple of weeks, because purely for that, I just, when we talk about energy and frequency, I just felt that I was just getting drawn into too much stuff that just wasn't really where I wanted to be or aligned to. And just by taking that pause, it's just allowed me to look at a top-down view of like, okay, what is it that's really meaningful to me, my peace of mind, my frequency, and how I want to be and how I want to put that out in the world, and how do I want to do that? So I think sometimes you have to detach in order to see the bigger picture.
Yeah, what's interesting is I never used to be a person who goes on social media much or use my phone much, but since I got into spirituality, I actually use social media more, because what I actually did is I actually stopped following all these news, all these negative articles and stuff, and started following all these motivational speakers, motivational quotes, motivational videos like Russell Brand, and just like spirituality stuff. And my Facebook and Instagram is so full with it that I don't see anything but motivational quotes and videos and some interesting stuff now. So now I actually spend more time on my phone, but I know that time is separated out for spirituality, meditation, and all that stuff. So if you're it's about what you're detaching from, not the actual the thing that you are using to detach.
You're right. It's not that the social media is bad.
Exactly.
It's just, if you look at your news feed, you want to clean that up. Same with whenever you're going through some stuff like that, you want to clean it. It's no different, really. It's just you got to just take a step back, look, and then just start unweeding all that stuff, just so you can get back to your values and your priorities, really. There's some great chats in the comments there. So we've had Alex saying great session, Yuvraj saying that'd be brilliant in terms of the resource pool idea. Vijay, great session. Nimesh has shared the Peaky Blinders link. There's no good, there's no bad that is categorical in this world. Beyond the calculations of powerful men who shift the definition according to their own selfish schemes of accumulation.
Powerful, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And going back to what Havan was saying, what you're really describing is what quite often we hear in the Western world, which is you're a product of the 5 closest people, or the 5. It's almost like that 6 degrees of separation, right?
Yeah.
So what you're describing is your circle of influence, and if you, especially with and you know, guys, I never mentioned the C word. So the current situation that we're in right now, if you, and with all the tragedies that's happened, except in which people have lost their lives, and all the frontline workers and the nurses who actually still don't get recognition. I'm sorry, but we see this on Facebook, but none of us have got any idea, unless you're actually an occupational therapist or nurse or one of the frontline workers. But what you're describing, back to your point, Havan, is that you see positivity because you choose to only let in positivity, right? Because you will reject somebody who posts something negative. You'll probably block them and that's not because you're being judgmental. You're just vibrating on such frequency that you have no judgment. That's just the information and energy that you want to consume because you're in that current moment right now. And it's important to detach from people who aren't serving you. And I don't mean that in a placid, evil way. I just mean that in a way that just don't vibrate on your frequency, and focus and surround yourselves with people who are going to lift you and empower you, and are service-based individuals, because they're heart-centered individuals, right? It's not just about you, it's about what can you do for other people.
Manoj, sorry, can I just so that's one thing. I think detachment, there's not a stigma attached to it, because being in the Asian community, of course, right? And I always thought that detachment means let go, which it does. However, the outcome from others will be arrogance, right? Because they won't understand that, so they'll be like, well, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just trying to think of the way to say it. It's nice to detach. However, if you have to have a some kind of methodology around it, or maybe that's not the word, because if I'm coming from if I'm in a group like Mindful Men's Club, and I've come into this group and I am going to be negative, right? Because I'm going through something. So I am going through something negative, and I am going to be blaming, and I am not going to be in the right state of mind. Where does detachment come in? Because yeah, you want to be with people on that higher frequency, and surround yourself with a higher frequency. So you can't say, well, you're not on my frequency. Sort of, we don't want to get attached to you, or we don't want to talk to you. So, and this is something that came on my silence course, and it's only not because of my silence course, but a lot of people have said this to me. It's like, that's cool, you're detached, but that's a bit, what about if I need you? Because now I don't talk to you about my problems because you're detached. And I'm like, nah, but it's not about you. So I think what people need to understand about detachment, and again, it's come out of my spiritual course, is you should be yourself. You should know yourself and balance the two, because let people come in and discuss whatever they need to discuss, still remain detached in a way, but allow them in and not just completely fob them off. Do you understand? I don't know.
Yeah. There's
what you're describing
that comes to mind, that detachment is that it's not that you own anything and nothing owns you. So that even goes with your emotions as well, right? You don't own your emotions. You have emotions which are in your mind. But when we talk about your inherent sort of nature consciousness, when we talk about where it resides, that's observing what's going on here, and our focus is on here. And I really like the example of what you showed of Pavan showed about the atom mixed up and where the electrons are in the quantum field. At the very molecular level, look at the distance. So is there any attachment at that level?
No, 100%. Most people won't know what
construct.
Most people don't know what the hell we're talking about here, because they weren't in the actual call. But
Key blinders, the quantum field.
Yeah, I know. But basically, I'm not going to go into that because I'm not a scientist. That's Hubbard's field. But I think going back to what Saga was saying, the attachment and the disattachment is not necessarily the individual, it's the emotional frequency linked with the individual. And the Japanese have this saying where we're universally linked and we're connected with a single red thread, right, that flows across the universe. So it doesn't mean that that person's never going to be needed, or you're not going to help them, or they're not going to help you in what you're describing. It just means you need to be detached, because right now you need to fill your cup even more, because that's all it is. You're still available to whoever it is that needs you, but the emotion of attachment needs to go away.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And that's the reason I'm bringing it up on this, because I think people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Havan, yeah, go on, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, so the way I see it is you're not detaching from the person itself. So like your example, Saga, if you came and started being negative, I wouldn't detach from you as a person. I would not take in the information that you're telling me. I wouldn't change my beliefs because you keep saying that world is like this, world is like that. I won't change my beliefs because I'm going to stick to what I believe in. And that's the detachment. You're detaching from the information and the energy the other person is giving you. Now, when you do that, then you start understanding that, oh, Saga must be doing this because of X, Y, and Z. How do I pull him out of this? And that's helping, supporting, and giving and bringing you out of it. That's how we should all be treating each other. So it's a detachment from what you're taking in, but you're also giving back and pulling them up to that.
That way you remove expectation as well.
Yeah, it's like Viraj. On the flip side of it, obviously we all have people, unfortunately, that are just completely toxic, right? Let's just put it out there, right? We call them energy vampires, right? People who suck,
Mhm.
continually suck, and take energy. Even with that, there's a meditation that most of you guys know. A couple of good friends have taken me through it previously. It's called cord cutting. So if you guys don't know about cord cutting, it's a visualization guided meditation where you physically, emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually cut cords with that individual, but you're not wishing them anything negative. All you're doing is you're detaching that emotional frequency with that individual because they no longer serve you. And what happens? Guess what? they just, I mean, not physically obviously vanish, but they just completely remove themselves from your life in the nicest way possible because they just don't serve you. And
And
it's
people that
powerful stuff.
you-
It works. It works, right? Have you guys done? I'm not sure if you've done it or
yeah,
experienced
yeah,
it.
and
I've done that as part of like a sort of forgiveness practice, but not necessarily in like a cord cutting way.
yeah. And what usually happens is that person realizes that our frequencies are not matching, and they will try it. If it's important to that person, they will try to raise themselves up to your frequency,
100%.
and you will
100%.
help them raise up as well. And if it doesn't, then they disappear. It's just clear cut.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm not sure if there's any other comments because I can't
Yeah,
see
no,
them.
there's one here from Alex. I think in relation to what Saga is saying, I think you can be judgmental to yourself in terms of what's of service to you, which I think I tell that is just filling your own cup first to the points that we've all raised about detaching and I suppose cord cutting. Now, it's not that there are always going to be certain people in our lives, but it's what they bring to you because there's an element of if they're bringing it to you, you're carrying a certain element of it yourself. So there's that natural attraction. It's not like they randomly come to you. I feel it's kind of like there's just something there within yourself to let go of, so that that's now complete, so that you can raise. It's kind of what Ryan Pinnock talks about in terms of getting over it, right? And we talk about the Hermetic philosophy and about the shadow self and all that kind of stuff. It's are we dealing with the problem at the problem level or the solution level?
Yeah.
And just think solution based outcome, I suppose.
Yeah, and that's at the core what this group is about, right? It's transitioning and transferring and transmuting your energy from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Because quite often we all enter the fixed mindset because we have the why me syndrome, but it's channeling that pain and whatever experience you've gone through to serve you, right? And to reframe the narrative and make it work for you because everyone's got issues, everyone's got problems. Welcome to life. that's part of life. It's just about how to navigate it, navigate through the ocean, really.
Yeah.
And we learned so much from each other today. I think, like we always do. So my brain kind of needs to. I need to go for a long walk. I don't know about you guys, but just to kind of get some fresh air. My wife's probably wondering what I'm doing in a meeting that started. Actually, what time did we originally start? 10:30 was the. Me and Hoven got early.
You started at 9.
We start prepping at 9 o'clock, right? Not to diss these guys, but these guys are solid soldiers, and we all take turns. And one of us needs a line, the other three step in, kind of thing. So we're a collective team. But we started at 9, and we were talking like pretty much straight till now. So I definitely need to stop talking and go for a walk.
Yeah, and need a toilet break as well.
I think just to end then, two things. So Alex has raised another comment here. There's also a school of thought that there is no such thing as energy vampires because ultimately a vampire can only feed on a source given to them. If they don't offer them
Very
the source,
true.
they can drain them of their energy.
Very, very true. Very, very true.
And the second thing is our next meeting on balancing the masculine and feminine energy. That's going to be another humdinger of a session that I'd love to see what that one's going to throw up in terms of what insights, perspectives everyone's going to share and raise.
So that's just for the guys. 2 weeks. Do you want to say the exact date? Have you got it in front of you?
It is the 6th of June.
Yeah.
So 6th of June. So all of our events are pretty much. I think the next 4 or 5 are up on Eventbrite. So please register your tickets. Unfortunately, we couldn't let a few people in, so apologies for that because you missed the actual registration deadline, which is 9:30 always on the day. So sincere, heartfelt apologies, but we can't let you in because we're in prep mode, etc. And the time it takes to send emails out. But to avoid disappointment, it's very simple. It's every 2 weeks, the exact same time at 11 o'clock to 12:30. Sometimes it does go on if we get deep into our conversations. Quite often it does, but just put it in your diaries, put it in your calendars. And if you're interested in understanding about how male and female energy interjects and interlaces, and how males actually have feminine energy and how females have male energy, and if you're a man, obviously, then tune in. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. And thank you so much for your support.
Yeah.
And enjoy your long bank holiday weekend, whatever you get up to.
Sit in the garden, I guess.
Yep.
Go
Great.
for a walk.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, well, in my case, go for a walk. I don't know about
Yeah,
you.
man. Take care, boys. Stay safe.
Guys, thank you.
Take care, guys.
Yeah.
Speak soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.